I'm Jean Hewell Chambers, founder of the 70273 project, and today we're talking to Laurel Alford, who is going to tell you how to make and attach hanging sleeves, a very, very important part of making a quilt for the 70273. Take it away, Laurel.
Thank you, Jean. All right, let's jump right into it. You've got a quilt and we need to hang it up. So the first thing you're going to do is try to determine what's the top. Because a lot of them, I mean, they're just X's. You can't tell what's the top. But in this case, this quilt has this pretty heart right here, and I want that to be right side up. So I'm going to decide this is the top of the quilt. Right there will be my top of the quilt. All right. You want to cut your hanging sleeve fabric, white only please, make sure there's no patterns or anything that will show through to the front. You want to cut this 9.5 inches wide. That's important. 9.5 inches wide. For the width of the quilt, just go ahead and lay it out, and you want to cut it the full width. Next step, gotta finish the edges. These sleeves are the part of the quilt that will get the most wear and tear. So you can finish these edges one of two ways. You can either do just a regular double roll, which is what we're going to do today, or if you have an overlock machine, you can use your serger and do the first part and then roll it over. We're going to seam that. And we'll do it again on this side. If you're fancy and can make rolled hems or anything like that, that's fine. Just the most important part is that these edges are finished. Okay? So let's go ahead and stitch those. I'm going to move all this out of the way. And I'm not doing anything fancy here. I'm just running a stitch. On the other side, I don't need to lock the stitches or anything because they're going to get covered up anyway. Now the next seam, normally when you sew stuff together you put right sides together, but in this case we don't want that. We're going to put the wrong sides together. And the reason we're doing that is so that when we make this seam and then we press it open, that seam will go against the quilt and nothing is left on the inside to catch on a pole or anything. So we're putting our right sides together, or excuse me, wrong sides together. And this one I'm going to make it just a narrow hem because I want all that width. Again, if you've got a serger, you can do this with a serger, it doesn't matter. Now the example we're doing today is one of these small middling quilts. Let's say you were doing one of the great big giant quilts. You still want the hanging sleeve all done in one solid piece. Don't do a bunch of little small ones, okay? If you think about it for a minute, I'm going to stand up here. You think about it for a minute, when this gets hung, people are going to put that in there and slide it through, okay? Little small ones, easy peasy, but if you've got those great big giant quilts, you don't want the pole leaving one hole, having to fish and find the next one. If it's in one solid piece, it makes it very easy for the people doing the work of hanging the sleeve, hanging the quilts. All right. Next part, come back to your iron. This part does not have to get pressed open. You can if you want to. I'm usually a little lazier than that. But an important part is that you want to put, just go ahead and iron in a little pleat, just a little pleat here at the bottom. And you see, it's not exactly even, it doesn't matter. This doesn't show. This pleat is for one reason only, to give extra space inside this sleeve. Now I'm going to show you why that is important. And this is the one step that most people that make sleeves incorrectly, this is where they mess it up. So I'm going to come over here and show you why this pleat is so important. Let's move over here. This is an example of a quilt. The size is correct. So this will hang. This will hang easily with a flat rod. Okay, hangs nice and flat. However, a lot of places don't use these. They use either a round dowel like this or the pipe and drape, and the pipe and drape is even thicker. So when you put that through, if that's, especially the bigger quilts, when they hang, the weight will make it bulge over the pole like that. And that's not as attractive as if it's hanging just nice and flat. And that's one of the reasons why that pleat in the back is so important. Okay? Since this is right here, I'll show you. This is another example of an incorrect way. If you had just a little teeny tiny dowel, this would hang and it would look good, but most big exhibitions don't have that. They have this or something big and flat, big and fat. All right, last part of this is to attach it to your quilt. So I'm going to double check that I've got the right side. Okay, where's my little heart? Heart's here. This is the top. So when I place this on here, I'm going to center it. So I've got about the same on the sides. And I'm not going to put it right up here at the top. If you put it right at the top and you put that pole in there, it'll hang and it'll move up like that. We don't want to see that. So I'm going to move it down about an inch. Then I'm going to pin this in place and then hand stitch. Yay. All right, nobody loves hand stitching, but this is the single most important step. This sleeve gets wear and tear. Pipes going in and out and in and out and in and out, and so you want all four sides sewn down. I'm going to hand stitch it along here, leaving that pleat up like that. Okay, so this one was incorrect, this one was incorrect. This is a pretty good example of a complete pleated. You see there's no seam sewing showing here. All 4 edges are sewn down nice and tight, and there's enough give in the sleeve that a big pole can fit in there. So this is an example of a good finished quilt, hanging sleeve. And I think that has covered everything. Do you have any questions, Jean?
No, just how did I get so lucky to have you as a friend and hanging sleeve queen? Thank you. Thank you. This is Jean Huell Chambers with her friend, with my friend, Laurel Alford, saying thank you for being a part of the 70273. And if you're not a part and want to be, then go to this URL, www.the70273project.org. And from there you can find out anything you need to know. Thanks so much.
Thank you.